when these children, my grandchildren, one in particular, decide to do something that's on the homosexual side, they have left their religion. They left their God.
Yeah.
They told God, I don't need to listen to you. And this is what happens. The devil gets in there and changes their mind and helps them to go to the liberal side. I truly believe that. I don't know what you want to say about that.
So the question, well, the statement was, if I have a child or a grandchild that is living out a homosexual lifestyle, engaging in same-sex acts, maybe dating someone of the same sex, marrying, quote unquote, someone of the same sex, they've left their religion behind. And I think this is where pastoral prudence comes into play. And this is controversial too, and people disagree about this. For me, I always go back to, again, the example of Jesus. Jesus, except with the Pharisees, he almost always led with love, right? He always led with the mercy first and then conversion came. So do I want my gay friends who are in a homosexual union to come to church? Yeah. Would I tell them that they can't come to church until they've ended that union? Some people would say yes. I don't think that's what Jesus would say. This is my personal opinion here. And that's not what I would say. I would say, come to church. They don't receive the Eucharist, but come to church. And, I in my own life have been blessed by gay Catholics. My first retreat leader, when I was 15 years old on a retreat and God first became real to me, was a gay man. I didn't know he was gay at the time, but he was a core team member. He was an adult leader in our youth group. He was in the Navy. He sang in the choir. He had like this big, strong, manly type voice. And I looked up to him as like a real example of faith. And that was one of the first places I really felt accepted. Okay. Now, did I know that he was gay, that he had relationships and was living in that aspect of his life, not in accordance with church teaching? I didn't know any of that. But I can't deny that he had a positive impact on my faith. My choir teacher in high school, who got me into music, who taught me how to sing at Mass, taught me so much about the liturgy, was gay. My roommate in college was transgender for a year. Like, I cannot deny that there are LGBTQ people in my life and in our church that have been beneficial to my faith, even without them conforming their sexual lives to church teaching. And I think this, if we look at Paul's letters and what he says in 1 Corinthians, that the ear cannot say to the eye, I don't need you. And that Jesus, he met with sinners first, and then the conversion happened. He didn't say you have to convert first before you come. And that's really hard. And it's like what Jeff was saying. Like, people will see you embracing these people and think you've left behind the church. You're watering down the gospel. But in fact, you're being very faithful to the gospel by embracing and loving those people. And so I would say, and it's easy for me to say because I'm not in your situation, but with that grandchild, perhaps God is calling you to reach out to that grandchild more, to love that grandchild more. And don't lead with church teaching. Lead with remembering their birthday, sending them a text, and the other thing to remember is it's not wrong for a man to love a man, right? I'm supposed to love other men. I'm supposed to love my father. I'm supposed to love my male friends. It's wrong for me to have sex with other men or to approximate sex with other men, right? And so it's in a relationship like that, if you see your granddaughter with her partner and they're being sacrificial for each other, that's something you can say, that's beautiful. She made you dinner. She took care of you while she's in the hospital. That's a beautiful thing. One of my wife's friends as a nurse, he cared for his male partner while he was dying of AIDS, very sacrificially for like 5 years. That's beautiful. Who doesn't need someone to care for them while they're dying? Okay? So we can affirm what is good without accepting what is bad. And Jesus, people accuse Jesus of being soft all the time. Do you know what sort of woman this is, Jesus? Do you know who's washing your feet with her hair? If you were really a prophet, you would know. And we'll get those accusations too. Say, well, what do you mean your granddaughter is gay and has a partner and you invited them to Thanksgiving? Don't you know what they're doing? But I think if we read the gospel, that's the sort of approach Jesus is calling us to. No, we don't back down from the truth, but we don't back down from love either. And yes, there can be a scandal of people thinking that we're accepting something that is not of the church. There could be a scandal where someone says, wait, you're accepting of that same-sex relationship? There is also a scandal in ignoring that person and rejecting them. There is also a scandal in your granddaughter and her partner thinking, God hates me. Catholics hate me. That is a scandal too. And it's just as dangerous as the other side. And so this is very difficult. It's very hard. But that's where I think Jesus calls us to live. Radical love, radical mercy, radical truth. Don't compromise who you are, but go the extra mile for those, especially for sinners. Jesus didn't come for the well, but for the sick. And so that's our call too. Amen. And